You had a glimpse of that Volvo V40. It is an exclusive C&B review that's coming at you. And the reason we are going to be fussing about that segment, and here you have another example from there, the CLA from Mercedes-Benz, is because this is where a lot of the action seems to be concentrated in terms of new model launches and also significant growth. As much as about maybe a quarter of this entire premium car space is now looking like it will belong to the compacts. And so Volvo hopes to be able to bite off a bigger piece of that pie with the V40. It is looking like a very good offering from an Indian context. We've had the chance, of course, to drive the car, so here's the review. The entry premium car space in India has steadily been growing, with the BMW X1 kicking things off in 2010. Now you have the Audi Q3 and A3, Mercedes-Benz A, B, CLA and GLA class, the BMW 1 Series and Volvo's V40 Cross Country, fighting it out in the segment and with different body styles to boot. Given the growing interest in the segment, I believe we should also have this car very soon. The regular V40, if you will. Now, with what Audi has managed to do with the A3 and its entry pricing is just sort of change the dynamics in that space just a little bit, because till now, you had the A-Class and you got the 1 Series, but it's a sedan, and so the proposition starts to change. Also, what Volvo will want to do with this car is to have a sort of a distinct value kind of a proposition with the V40, because the cross country already occupies the slightly higher end of that segment, and this whole entry premium space is only going to get more competitive and only going to get bigger. So to try and make some sort of an impact, just get those footfalls into your dealerships, just like what BMW achieved a few years ago with the X1. Yeah, maybe you got to start playing around and teasing that 20 lakh price point. Will Volvo do that? I don't know, but it certainly is something that someone has got to do soon. Volvo will certainly get noticed if it did do that, isn't it? The V40 has 5 petrol and 4 diesel variants with outputs varying from 120 to 245 bhp. The car with me is the most powerful diesel. The D4 is a 2-litre unit which comes in 175 and 190 bhp outputs and has a generous 400 Nm of torque. There is a choice of a 6-speed manual or auto transmission. This one is automatic. The D4 delivers its peak torque fairly quickly, but does suffer from some lag. The gear ratios do compound the problem somewhat, and the engine can get a bit unresponsive below 1500 RPM. But the car makes up for all that with precise steering, sharp braking and very impressive handling around corners especially. Very often we get so caught up in the performance aspect of a vehicle that we tend to forget some of the other things that really are important for a driver. Driving position being one of them. Now in this car, I found that that's really spot on. I mean, there's something to be said about just how well that's been planned and designed. The size of the steering, the position of the steering itself, the seat, especially the support that I'm getting for my upper and middle back, it's just perfect. It all comes together really, really well. And the paddle shifters, everything, just ergonomically, it's working for me. Now, of course, that's individual and it may not work for some other drivers, but I find that it's not always that I'll get a car that just sort of fits me so well. That is working for me on this particular one. And that's the thing. This is a compact, very comfortable car with good dynamics and yes, good looks too. The face is familiar Volvo territory. That will change in the future once that new XC90 like family look starts to kick in, but this is going to stay for a while. Nice headlamp cluster. You've got a little bit of an LED element for the parking light. There is a daytime running light down there in the bumper. The car isn't as raised as the V40 Cross Country, nor does it have all that black cladding running along the side or over the wheel arches. That differentiates it obviously from that car. At the back, thankfully, you still get that nice stylish hatch door, the one with the black enamel sort of an element in it. I like that because it separates it from the other cars in the segment. Also, it kind of protrudes out and along the side gives you a sense that there is space in the boot. That's where the V badging kicks in as well, because it is supposed to be kind of like a station wagon, and of course it is a definite hatchback, isn't it? Take a look at the space it does offer you. To me, that's going to be a bit of a USP because it starts to get into that B-class kind of territory with the kind of space it has, and I like that because one thing we do know is that there is a greater acceptance now for hatchbacks in the premium space in India, and so a car like this could work. One little styling element that I do like, the way the pillar comes down here, and then there's a little bit of a curve into the metal. Nice touch. The V40 is expected to drive into India this year. Volvo is finalizing the feasibility of launching this model, and we should have some firmed up plans soon. Tell us how you liked the car though, and whether or not you would like to see it come in, and at that tantalizing price that stays well and firmly below 25 lakh rupees at that.